Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be doing part 2 of this video series, dumping into further Splunk challenges. Let's get into it. Jumping back into things here, we're going to be going over to question 6, which reads, this attack used dynamic DNS to resolve to the malicious IP. What is the fully qualified domain name, FQDN, associated with this attack? So it's interesting here that they mention dynamic DNS, because this makes me wonder if we're going to be looking for the same host that might have multiple IP addresses. And the reason I'm thinking this is because with dynamic DNS, you typically have a gateway, and then behind that gateway, you'll have a host that will regularly be assigned an IP address and an updated IP address if the host changes or you have multiple hosts, for example. But I'm not too sure. But let's take a look. We want to find the attack used dynamic DNS. What is the fully qualified domain name? Well, I think we already know. As the way to find this is just to use our last query here, which was client IP 192. So we did a stat count by URL, and this had showed us that URL with the image. Although we're getting nothing here, and that's quite unfortunate. Oh, sampling is on. And sampling's not going to work in this case because there are not a lot of results. So clicking on the link here with the JPEG image, which of course was used to deface the website, will be that event. We have several, we'll expand that. And we're just going to be looking for the IP address and the host name. I'm looking through this packet now, and we do see port 1337, the GET request for the JPEG. The site is, so I'm assuming the site is going to be the host, which is prank, glassine, bracket, drunken crab. Let's try this. I believe this is going to be it because the source IP address is our Wayne Enterprise website, and the attacking address is one of the 2 IP addresses for the Poison Ivy group. So there's this one and the other IP, the 40 something. Let's put this in. I don't know if this will, I don't think we need the port. Oh, and that worked, wonderful. All right, let's jump over to question number 7, which reads, what IP address has Poison Ivy tied to domains that are pre-staged to attack Wayne Enterprises? So this is an interesting question, I find. I actually feel like it's a little confusing because it's asking what IP addresses have been tied to domains that are pre-staged. When I hear a pre-staged domain or host, I think of a command and control, or a host that is serving up files for remote code execution. For example, and we know we have 2 Poison Ivy hosts already, or sorry, IP addresses 23 and 40, but we need to determine a specific one that is pre-staged to attack Wayne Enterprises. If we look here, for example, we see that our internal site is reaching out to one of the Poison Ivy IPs, the 23, and it's sending a GET request for that malicious image because, of course, our internal host was compromised. So this to me makes me think this host is just like if you're doing a Hackbox machine, you would do your Python -m HTTP, or sorry, what is it? The listen command, Python 3-m http.server and the name of your file. So in this case, it would be Poison Ivy is coming for you, batman.jpg, and that would be listening by default on port 8000, and then we would try and, of course, download that from, our target machine or our infected host. I'm going to take a stab at it. Otherwise, I feel like we may have to look at what IP addresses were assigned to the prank Glycine bracket jumping crab site. Historically, if it was a dynamic DNS, we may see multiple entries over time, and this might be something where we have to do a stats count by time and URL and IP address. Yeah, I think this is actually gonna be complicated if it's not this one. Oh, I'm so glad that worked. That would have been difficult. Let's move on to number 8 here. It reads, based on the data gathered from this attack and common open source intelligence sources for domains, what is the email address most likely associated with the Poison Ivy APT group? For this, I believe we're just going to be Googling around in a sec. Taking a look over here for the APT email, we'll just search for, I think it's PO1S, 1S0, and yeah, that's what exactly I'm looking for. Let's come out the first one to search this up. So looks like there's actually a try hack me group for this, which is kind of funny. This kind of seems like cheating, so let's actually just do who is. I feel like I'm gonna find it there because they've been used for other events, and that kind of takes the fun out of it. We have a bad gateway at the whois site. Oh, that's weird. Let's try that again. Oh, I see why, because it's who.is. Suspicious. Let's look up the Poison Ivy. So it's going to be... Let me actually go back a group here. It's going to be... I just want to make sure I spell it right. Poison Ivy. .com. Jump over to whois. Oh, not the bad one, the good one. And let's see what this returns. If anything. It says it's unavailable. That's fine. Domain email lookup. Let's use hunter.io. No email address is found. So that's quite interesting that it's just being a little on the difficult side here. I'm trying to think, domain information lookup. Maybe I can? I somehow doubt it. Let's see here, interesting. All right, show us some information here of who this is tied to if possible. Nothing, so we want to do domain email lookup. Let's try the whois. Again from, oh, this looks good. We get a pop-up, we close that. Scrolling down, we can see the domain's registrant is Tempe, Arizona. It's private, of course, in the US. Host names, we have 2 name servers. The parse domain name remains the same. Didn't really see anything special here, that's quite unfortunate. Let's try the MX toolbox. Otherwise, we can try virus total hybrid analysis, for example, and see what they're kind of. Let's try Huoxi. I think it's called Huoxi, maybe not. Wait, Woxi? Whois lookup API for domain names, yeah. So let's try this. Let's try this, poisonivy.com. And you can see we kind of have the same information we have before. So it's getting a little complicated. Oh, here's the whois lookup API. This is different. So who owned it in the past 10 records? Oh, this looks good. Lillian Rose. So we have an email here. Lillian at poisonivy.com. And then you can see there's a Splunk owner. That's kind of funny. Let's go ahead and try this answer here. So Lillian@poisonivy.com, and this is not the answer. It's quite unfortunate. Oh, here's Lillian Rose. Maybe we have to do this. Sure hope so. There we go. Good stuff. Let's move on to question 9. What IP address is likely attempting a brute force password attack against I'mNotReallyBatman.com? All right, so what we'll do here is we'll start with I'm not really Batman.com. We want to see all records with I'm not really, I think I got it wrong, with I'm not really Batman.com. Yeah, I got it backwards. So I'm really not Batman.com. There we go. Sometimes it's hard to talk while you're trying to think. And you can see we have a ton of stuff here. This isn't very helpful, but we're looking for brute forcing. So that means we're probably going to see a lot of failed requests. So first we want to do, the easy thing is, whoops, I don't know what I just did there. That's unfortunate. But the first thing we want to do is exclude successful results. We want to exclude 200 status from our searches. The next thing that we're probably going to look for is posting, some type of post to a credential. So I think that's going to be what would that be? I'm actually not too sure. We might have to look this up. HTTP. What do we have here for options? Contact method. Okay, so HTTP method. And then is it just going to be, is it equal post? Let's try that. I'm not the best with Splunk. I just don't, oh, I think that actually worked. Yep. Equals post. Let's go back. Wonderful. And you can see we have sourcestream.http. Yep. And we have all these 303s. So this is interesting. And in a sense, there's almost too much info here. So we might want to look at the URL. In this case, if the login or the brute forcing isn't done through the URL, it's going to be done likely through a form. So we have to do, I'm not sure, form data? Is this Boolean has form data or doesn't? Oh, that's not ideal. Oh, here we go. We got something. Let's see what we got. Quite the amount of information here. Looking through this, I feel like this isn't right or what we're looking for. We have, no, this form data is not what we wanted. It's too official. So perhaps what we'll do instead is, let me think. What else can we do? Stats. Oh, let's pipe that. Actually, you know what we might be able to do is just to use, let's use the statistics option, hit pattern. Everything comes from Splunk 2, yeah, because that's the tab. We have a ton of records, so let's do statistics, quick reports, and then maybe we can do, no, this isn't going to be helpful, I don't think. This is very tricky. Let's take a look at one here. I think we really want to go after that. Just ensuring that there's form data in every query. So if there's form data in here, let's see, form URL encoded, then we can add this to our filter. So you can see content type, yep, form URL encoded. So we want to make sure that form data is added. This way, when we search, we can see our form data here. And my hope was we'd look through here and we'd start to see login attempts, like a login.php or a username or something, but I don't see anything. So what I'm going to do is type and I'm thinking maybe username. Oh, this looks good. You can see here we have form data showing usernames, admin, add login task. This looks good. and we see tons of failed attempts, and this just goes on, and the passwords are just words. Taking a look here, we have this IP address, which is the second of the poison ivy. I guess could I have just guessed it, or sort of guessed that? Yeah, I thought that was too good to be true. It just seemed too easy to find it like that. But realistically, let's look at how many IP addresses have a form data post with username. If we add the filter client IP, so there's really only two options. Let's confirm that by looking at, client IP. Okay, so I guess you kind of could have guessed this. I don't know, maybe it's harder than this and this is gonna work, and there's some type of dynamic DNS trick and I have to go back to a certain time period. No, it worked. Whew, okay. Let's look at the next one here. What is the name of the executable uploaded by Poison Ivy? Please include the file extension. That's gonna be tough. I'm kind of thinking that's just an executable, so it's probably a .exe. We're not going to be looking for username, but we could say, and if it's uploaded, we're not going to have to worry about a status. We actually want a status 200 because it'll be uploaded successfully. I think it would be through a post form. This looks good. I still feel like this is probably too good to be true. So you can see here we have our Poison Ivy IP address, one of the two hosts, and it is making an HTTP request to our internal device, and it returns 200. Okay, it's a post request, so it is uploading or posting something. And I don't believe it's been parsed, so I think we almost have to look through this. Oh, I just saw a .exe something. What did I? Let's search the page just for .exe. And I see a 3791.exe, 3791.exe. So what do they want again? They want the name of the executable. 3791.exe. And the destination is our internal, I guess, 3791.exe. There we go. All right, let's look at the next question here, which is, what is the MD5 hash of the executable uploaded? I don't even know where to start to figure out how to find an MD5 hash of an executable uploaded. Oh, this is gonna hurt. This is gonna be so painful. I have no idea. I think what I'm wondering is kind of a high level overview. What data are we collecting? Because depending on what data we're collecting, that might be in a different place. This is going to be really tricky. So we're probably collecting network traffic and with various win logs. This is going to be really difficult. I think I'm just going to have to Google this. I honestly don't know how to do it. I'm hoping there's some guide out there that will help me with this. So we'll really just look up Splunk, how to search MD5. Oh, first thing that comes up, MD5 hash of an uploaded file. Oh, hashtag blessed, this is perfect. Obviously we're gonna take a look at that. A suspicious executable has been uploaded to your web server. You wanna find the MD5 hash so you can investigate further. Looking over this very convenient Splunk website, we can see the required data is Microsoft Sysmon. Hopefully we're collecting Sysmon traffic. I guess we could figure it out by doing, I don't know, we just type Sysmon, see if we get anything, and that's gonna, okay, looks like we're collecting Sysmon data. That's great. That's my cat in the background in case you can't hear her. So you can see here we have win registry information, XML win event log information, and that's good. That's kind of what we want and what we're after. You can see here we have our procedure, which suggests we run the following search. And we see here that it is referencing that source type we saw earlier when we just looked in our Sysmon screen, which you can see right. Or not our Sysmon screen, when we searched for Sysmon. Now let's look at the search explanation. So we start off with the name of the executable, that's obvious. Secondly, we want to specifically look for Sysmon operational logs. Next, we want event code 1, which is a process creation event. The MD5 hash is captured when the process launches. Beautiful. Then there's talk about the search for the process that spawned the .exe, so the command line, and then the stats value. So stats, just the values for MD5 fields. So let's kind of try this one at a time here. So we know our executable is going to be, let me just look it up here. What was it, 39? 3719? 3791, okay. So let's go 3791.exe. Well, that's not good. Nothing. Oh, sampling is turned on again. Let's say no sampling. There we go. And then it's suggesting we do source type. Okay, so let's specify the source type, and we'll say source type equals XML. Looks like it already knows what we're looking for. XML event log, Microsoft Windows Sysmon operational. And then event code 1 suggests the MD5 hash that was produced, so event code equals 1. And I think we can just work with this maybe. We have 5 entries, all from 3 different times. I guess let's take a look at one of them. Process creation, parent command line 3971. We have a SHA-1. Oh, and an MD5 hash. Let's see if this is it. That was pretty cool. Neat little trick. Nifty little trick there. Kill the white space. Send that off. Didn't. Wait, what am I doing? MD5 hash with the execute. Yeah, that should be right. But it's obviously not. And let's make sure we don't have any white space. Nope, no white space. Okay, fair enough. So that's quite interesting. We're gonna add the MD5 hash to the field, and I wonder if we need the MD5 hash. I wonder if this is of like, oh, I see. So we wanna look, let's filter for the parent command line as well, and then let's go ahead and remove the host. We already know that's the same host every time. Let's rerun this with our filters, and you can see here we have parent command line. This one's being called differently, it looks like. So let's take a look at this log. It has several hashes. The parent process. So this won't work because this is the hash of cmd.exe. So if we look at parent process, even executable, we really just want the 3791 executable. Unfortunately, this doesn't seem like it's going very well. So let's go back to that browser. where we were looking at what to kind of do here. So let's see what else we can append to our query. We have the executable, we have the source type, correct. We have our event code, and I guess we would want to do the command line. So let's add the command line, and then command line equals 3791.exe. Rerun the search, and this is different this time. Oh, we had this one last time. Yeah, we saw this. I didn't enter this because I don't know, I thought this wasn't. I guess here they're actually executing the process. Let's try this hash then and see as NT authority system. Yeah, let's enter this hash, see if this works. Maybe we just have to try them all then, and eventually it worked. Oh, all right, that's pretty good. I guess next is how much time? What do we have for time here? Okay, I'll do one more. Let's do number 12 here. GCPD reported that common tactics, techniques, procedures for the Poison Ivy APT group, if initial compromise fails, is to send a spear phishing email with custom malware attached to their intended target. This malware is usually connected to Poison Ivy's initial attack infrastructure. Using research techniques, provide the SHA-256 hash of this malware. Whew. This is getting pretty hard. So we're looking for mail 2. And it says the malware is connected to their attack infrastructure. So I guess we know some of their attack to other IP addresses, but I don't know if that's what they really want us to do. I'm not quite sure that's what they want. Let's just try mail 2 here. Is that a thing? Can we do mail 2? Yeah, we can. Show me everything with mail 2. Oh, that's a lot of hits. That's quite unfortunate, actually. I was kind of hoping. Can we do like just the word attachment? Mail to an attachment? I feel like this is too good to be true. Let's see what the deal is. So let's see, did it parse well? Destination headers. Nothing there. Destination IP, our internal IP. Let's just search for the word mail. So you can see we have mail 2. But again, we kind of want an attachment. So let's look. So there is a attachment called joomla.json. Somehow don't think that's the malware. Interesting. Let me get rid of mail 2. Can we just do mail? No. I guess, you see, this is very tricky because they're suggesting we do some research. So I suppose we can kind of research around and figure out Poison Ivy attack infrastructure, I guess. Or alternatively, what else can we do? We know they exist, so why don't we go over to VirusTotal and just run their domain, I suppose. So let's see, probably gonna get this wrong. P01S0N1VY.com. Interesting, really nothing showed up here. There's one file linked to the domain. Apparently I can't check though unless I create an account. So that's not very helpful. Oh, here it is. Lab 8, effectively using Splunk Scenario 1 PDF. What? So obviously some Splunk training somewhere back in, I guess, 2021. Anyways, that's not what we want. We can try next. We could try all these IP addresses, I suppose, because these are the subdomains. So we can see they have 3 IP addresses. So when we search poisonivy.com, the first 2 here, they could be clean, but the last one could be the malicious one. And sometimes you can get tricked like this. If you find what you think is a malicious domain, you search it up with HTTP, you get a whole different result with HTTPS. Or same, you know, if IP addresses have changed, you might have to search them by IP addresses, because you could have a domain name, but hide the malicious acts by using a different IP address than the normal ones. You temporarily change the IP address, or you change the URL, like the domain name, you add a subdomain, and then you launch your attack, and then you revert, for example. But I think in this case, we're just gonna search up really all their domains. And if that doesn't work, then, well, we'll deal with it then. All right, let's look for this IP address. Oh, this is definitely malicious. That's funny. Okay, communicating files. Holy, that is a ton of files. Look at this. Air Jet Blue Flights domain takedown request. Interesting. Well, there's a lot of files here, and I don't know how we're supposed to go about this without just playing the guessing game now. Is this all of them? Okay, well, let's try them all then. Maybe there's something really obvious. Here's the SMTP address. Actually, that's probably gonna be better. There's their mail server. Let's search that up. Apparently, it's very clean. Makes sense. Door to foreign nations, keen to see him stay. What is this? Interesting. Okay, let's try the other SMTP server. Looking under relations again, so many files. I just don't know if any of these, I don't know where to start. Enrichment, immunizer, huh. Well, we see this domain in our actual capture, so let's copy it. Apparently I can't copy without copying the rest of them. There we go. Otherwise, we'll try the 40, the 40 whatever IP address, the second of the ones. What's this? It looks like, again, I don't know how to determine what are we supposed to do. Like, there's nothing suggesting. Custom malware. Yikes. Oh, I disappeared. Oh, hi, I'm back. There we go. All right, back to what I might have to do is pause the video here and just guess. You know, it could be any one of these. And I really rather not just guess. Well, let's get started. All forms, let's just start with file.exe. And we want the I believe this is the SHA here. Let me just confirm. SHA-1 is no. Oh no, they have the SHA-256. So yeah, this is it. Hopefully you don't get deducted points for getting the wrong answer, because it's going to be ugly. I'm just hoping maybe it's the files on this domain, because this is the one that we're using in the actual scenario. It's this Miranda screensaver. Wow, that's pretty malicious looking. And if we do have to go through every one of these in order to get the file, I think that'd be quite unfortunate, but I think perhaps we need to do some more. Oh, there we go. All right, it worked. Okay, well, that's a wrap then. My head's starting to hurt. This has been a while. I don't want to take up anyone else's time. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment down below if you solved any of these challenges differently. Make sure to subscribe to get the next series coming up, and jump in our Discord if you want to join an amazing CTF and security focused community. Other than that, happy Splunking. Have a good rest of your day. See everyone in the next video.